What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Speak Up Sports Podcast with Cass, Chris, and Shaw. What's going on, fellas?
Good, y'all.
I'm good. You good, Chris?
Hell no.
It's a lot going on. We've had the NBA draft lottery, and officially found out who will have the in a surprise that probably shouldn't be that big of a surprise. Who will have the number one overall draft pick in the NBA? We officially have our first team that has entered the conference finals of the NBA. We had a major injury in the NBA as well, and we have the NFL schedule release officially coming out here in the next couple hours. But as Cass started it off, we got to start there. Major injury to Jayson Tatum. Since we last joined with you guys, he officially has torn his Achilles and has already had surgery on that. Very, very tough injury, very tough thing to see, especially given how the game was going and how he was playing. But how did you guys feel when you guys saw the injury in the game and everything that's happened since?
Go ahead, Chris. Let it out.
Oh man, I had to put the jersey on, bro. Shout out JT, man.
Tough.
That's really what I can say, Cass. Tough. It's like Shad was saying, it was a good game. The Knicks did have the lead, so you can't obviously say that the injury is the reason why we lost. But I mean, JT was playing great that game. He already had 42. With him on the court, I would have liked our chances to make a comeback and actually win the game. But it's not even just that. It's the aspect of the kind of injury it was. Like, if it's gonna happen, you kind of like wish it happened like in January sometime or December. So if he missed the playoffs, he could come back, November, December of the next year. But I mean, this is an 8 to 9 month injury. So you're talking March next year, right before the playoffs. And even if we make the playoffs, I mean, is he gonna be any good to play with us next year? Who knows? They say the biggest thing about this kind of injury with Achilles is more mental than physical, because it wasn't like somebody rolled your ankle. Like, you took a normal step that you would normally take and it just gave way. And I've never had that injury. So I can only imagine, you walking and you doing whatever, you're like, damn, like,
You don't trust
I
it.
don't trust it. So, and I don't know if y'all saw it, but obviously, what's his name? Mark from ESPN talked to Jayson Tatum dad, and they was that Mark Spears, and he basically said the same thing I just said. His dad is not even worried about the injury itself. He's more worried about his son mental, because like, he ain't never experienced no injury like this, and just to have it, that's one of the normal play that you want to make in a playoff, diving for loose balls, trying to change the possession, trying to change how the outcome of the game is. And for that to happen to him, I mean, it really sucks, because at this point, it's like you're in a crossroad type of ordeal, because like, obviously that's my team. I want them to be successful, but with their success, let's just say they come back in the playoffs, now it's gonna be, oh, they don't need JT. And it's like, bruh, this man is injured. That shouldn't even be the case, but that is what's gonna be, because that's how it always been. So it's tough for JT, man. You feel for that kind of aspect to happen to somebody. You only can just feel for it.
You kind of take for granted his durability,
Right.
even after being in the league this long. It's his first major injury like this. He hasn't missed a lot of time. Of course, everybody's been talking about this week. It is tough for JT, man. And I know people were holding out hope for a long time, because it was like radio silence for a good day, most of the next day. But we all knew what it was. And like we touched on before, it's a lot of questions that got to be answered for the Celtics all season. Of course, even before this injury, there were already reports about people having to leave because of the finances. So a lot of questions in the off season just made it a lot more murkier. Kind of same thing, kind of same deal with Damian Lillard. It's like you kind of wash next season more or less. So it's like, well, how is this team going to look in 2 years? Is that kind of what you're planning for now? But yeah, I mean, that was tough to watch. like you said, Chris, they probably weren't going to win that game. I mean, maybe you never really know though. It was still a lot of time left. It was like 3 minutes left or whatever.
Yeah,
Down
about
by
3
9.
minutes left. Yeah,
So
that
I mean,
possession
you
made it
never
down
really
9.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you never really know, but that was tough to watch. How about you, Shaq?
Yeah, it was very tough to watch, and when it first happened, they said ankle, and that was before they really showed the replays or anybody really saw the replays. That was kind of the initial reaction, and then as soon as everybody saw the replay, I mean, you knew what it was. Like,
Yeah.
So I mean, it was tough, and you could tell that the Celtics themselves were sick. I mean, when number one, you are repeating as a champion, so not only even if they do go down 3-1, I mean, they did just a few years ago come down from 3-0 and probably would have won the series if Jayson Tatum didn't get hurt. So I mean, they're a team that can truly probably feel like, hey, we can come back at any point in time, especially given the fact that they were up in damn near every game up big in every game against the Knicks as well. But yeah, it's tough because I had mentioned kind of earlier about like there are going to be question marks about them if they were to lose specifically to the Cavs, given the Cavs' age and stuff like that. But I mean, and there would have been questions regardless if it was the Cavs, the Knicks, the Pacers.
Mhm.
But now this kind of even if they didn't lose to any of those teams, there still would have been questions like maybe they would have held on because like maybe we just went to back-to-back finals or we just won back-to-back finals. But I mean, we see Al Horford out there. We see Drew Holiday. I ain't never seen Drew Holiday get cooked so many times in my life. But I mean, he can't do nothing with Jalen Brunson. And I'm not saying this because it's probably because he's a little bit older. Like there was always going to be questions. So I mean, it accelerates the timeline of those questions and needing those answers. I mean, it's extremely tough. And then is Jayson Tatum ever going to be back the same? The question that we've been talking about all year, basically the past 2 years, who's going to be the face of the league? Like, this was kind of his shot. Like, I mean, not necessarily. I'm not saying it's completely over, but like this was it, and that really was kind of his moment. He was getting a big moment, one of his best games, and that's not especially coming off of people trying to say, which is kind of crazy, considering how many moments he's had in the playoffs, but people trying to say he's never had a single moment in the playoffs. Like that was a moment in Madison Square Garden as well. Like it would have, so it's extremely tough, but for all the talk that Jaylen Brown comes right to the forefront. He spent an entire offseason, and really the past couple seasons saying that, kind of giving off the impression that he wants more respect. Obviously, he won the Finals MVP. He won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So, in a sense, he kind of got that respect. But then the whole Team USA thing comes about, him not being invited. This is your opportunity to show. 22 points, 20 points in this game. I'm not saying that he got to win. I'm not saying the Celtics got to come back. 20 points ain't cutting it. I'm sorry. Like 25-5 ain't it, my boy. Like it's time to show up. Like all the talk that he's had and all the things that people have said about him, and whether fair or unfair, people trying to compare him to Jayson Tatum, saying he's better than Jayson Tatum, him doing the stuff with the Team USA, blah, blah, blah. All of that comes to fruition right now. So unfortunately, it's a position where you only really have a limited amount of games. Well, right now you have a limited amount of games.
And
Obviously,
one.
next year, you
have
have
one guaranteed,
possibly one
Yeah.
guaranteed. So that part of it kind of sucks. But we're gonna see. I mean, and the Celtics also have to. There's also have to be questions in the Celtics like that Jaylen Brown has to have. Like the Celtics were so willing to trade me for a KD who hasn't been able to stay healthy and really hasn't done too much in the playoffs either. Like, were they right or were they wrong? And we'll find out that now. So it's so tough. Like it's so tough that it happened. Like, why can't it just be like a sprain, bad sprain ankle?
I'll take a broke ankle,
A strained
honestly, because I know
calf,
you'll come back.
like
But
That Achilles is no joke, man.
The Achilles
That's
is
it.
no joke, and I mean, and it sucks because it's also hard to even talk about like the Knicks and
Good, they've
how well
been
the Knicks
playing right.
played and how especially that game both teams were playing like like they were fucking hooping in that game, and then it ends like that, and it's like it's kind of like a bittersweet moment. I mean, obviously Knicks don't care, ultimately. But as a fan of basketball, it is like kind of bittersweet to watch it because it's like, damn, the Knicks are really kind of like getting over the hump, but it's also like, damn, like what everybody is saying that they would have won that game. Jayson Tatum was going off, like that nigga was going off. So I mean, he hit a three. Who's to say that Derek White and Jalen Brown? I mean, the floodgates could open at any point in
Yeah.
time. So
Facts.
like that's the team that can detonate at any point in time. So like I understand that it was late, it was getting later and later in the game, but still, like, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see tonight if they are able to, either make a comeback or at least make it extend the series from 3-1. Because really all these other series are basically looking like 5 games. I mean, we'll find out about the Warriors tonight, but obviously the Cavs just lost officially to the Indiana Pacers last night, going out in 5. What'd you guys think about? And then obviously the Thunder won the big time game 5 last night against the Nuggets. So how did you guys feel about the Cavs going out and then in terms of the Nuggets Thunder series, how that's going?
Um, I mean, shout out to the Pacers. I mean, they done went to the Eastern Conference Finals back to back years, hoping to get over the hump this year. I think it's tough for the Cavs because I feel like this year was the year that they said it was almost like a let's give it one more try year. We got a new coach. We don't really want to break it up. I'm not saying they're in the same position as the Celtic as far as decisions to be made as far as money wise, but I think there will be decisions that are made this offseason for you guys. I mean, tough situation again. Y'all dealt with injuries just like we did. Obviously, y'all have a player out for the rest of the series, but I mean, it was already game 4, so that I'm not even gonna
Next
talk about
season too.
that. But I just think the biggest thing for me, the biggest thing is shout out to the Pacers, shout out to Halliburton. I mean, to come. I mean, what a story, I guess, in general. Just the whole aspect of it came out that you're the most overrated player, and then he just doing what he do. So,
Which that overrated stuff. I
I
mean,
mean,
he
it's just
kind
funny
of
because
made the
everybody blew
fuck
it
out of
up.
it. And they when in reality it was like 10 people that voted on that,
That's
like
what's
literally
funny. He
10
just make it
votes.
seem like the whole league. Everybody told so drop the names. Who voted this? It's just
It's literally like 10 people out of like 1,000 NBA players that might have said that. So.
And if it's anything like the NFL when they do their top 100, most time them folks that be saying people name, they don't really. It's just a name to put out there. They ain't really paying attention like that anyway. So
But yeah, with that series in particular, like you said, Chris, I think there are some conversations that need to be had. I don't know of any big decisions, but I mean, you got to look at it and be like, okay, how far you want to go with this kind of core forwards you have in Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Allen. So the last 3 years, you've been you've been put out kind of unceremoniously. I know the injuries have been a part of the last couple. But how long do you keep running the well back? So it is decisions that got to be made. But yeah, I'm leaning more towards the Pacers in this one. They came to play, man. I mean, they were good in the regular season as well. Like it shouldn't really be that much of a surprise. I know the Cavs were the 1 seed, but the Pacers really played well down the stretch, down the second half of the season. So I mean, they figured it out. They have a great coach. We all know Carlisle is a great coach. So and a proven one. So in a way. So I mean. So it was good to see the Pacers kind of get over that, get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, we'll see how this shit shakes up. If it's a rematch of last year, they could find their way they could find their way towards the finals, which is crazy to think about. But I mean,
the part of last year was also the fact that Jalen Brunson was literally on his last leg.
Jalen Brunson on his last leg. Of course, they had Randall instead of Cat.
And then OG got hurt.
And no Mikal Bridges. So
a little different.
It's a little different, but they had some players too. So, I mean, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, shout out to the Pacers with that. As far as the Nuggets Thunder series, I mean, this body blows. I mean, I want to say this will go 7, but I wouldn't be shocked if OKC kind of just closes this shit out in 6. Even on the road, it's tough. It's tough when you have, first of all, it's tough when you have Jokic going for 44 and gets no kind of. I know Jamal played well, but you got Michael Porter Jr., bro. You making 30, 35 a year, like you gotta produce more than 2 points in a game. Let's just be honest about it. Like this, I know it's not always on one person, but you're supposed to be a big key to that. And if you're not producing, I understand you're injured. You can't lift his arm above his head, all that crap to be saying every single game. But at the same time, he's out there and he's putting up these shots. And he had one good game that he scored 20, whatever it was, hit 5 threes. I don't know if you can really blame the injuries too much about how he's playing overall. So, especially how he's shooting. So it is tough when you have that going on. It was tough. Jokic with the bad stretch of 3 games where it was kind of like, do they have your number, bro? And then you come out with another 40-point game as you had similar to the game 1. But the benches, they're relying too much on Russ. Russ is pretty much the sole source of their bench scoring, which is trouble. Even I can say that. Like, you don't want that to be the case where you're basically only really relying on 6 guys to score night in, night out. It's a bad formula, especially against a team like this. So Russ has been off the last 2 games, and they've lost the last 2 games, and that's kind of what it boils down to. So I wouldn't be surprised if the OKC kind of just closes it out in Game 6, kind of puts them out their misery. But I mean, if it does go Game 7, I mean, at the same time, we've seen Jokic, we've seen Jamal, we've seen it before. We also seen the other side of it. So I mean, it's a good series overall. Definitely the best series of this round. Which I think Denver had the best series of the first round too, with the Clips. So we'll kind of see how it shakes out, but it is fun.
We shall see how it shakes out. But yeah, I mean, tough way to go out for the Cavs because, I mean, go out in 5 games, don't win a single game at home in the series. I mean, much like the Celtics. So, I mean, they do have a lot of questions. I mean, there's a lot of questions that's got to be. It's tough because, funny enough, this is actually the real year that injuries really actually hurt them, and it's the year that it doesn't matter. And last year we could say, yeah, Donovan Mitchell, he missed games, but they weren't beating the Celtics. Like, they might have extended the series to 6. Jared Allen missed games, but they weren't going to beat the Celtics. This year, to go from, blowing having the best first round series ever for a team to you shooting 29%. I think they shot like 39% or 40%, a little over 40% for the series. Like, this is actually you could see that their shooting went away because they had lower leg injury. But at the end of the day, like, you have to look at it from, well, this was the year that you guys said that you guys were supposed to be healthy. You were extremely deep. You didn't play, you guys weren't really playing many games over. I think they only averaged like 30 minutes a game, 31, 32 minutes a game. They weren't playing these heavy minutes. So the moment that you get to the playoffs, the moment that you get to the biggest part of your season, all of a sudden you guys all crumble. Your starter, your best player, he can barely walk, whatever the fuck he got going on. He misses a half and then he's able to run the next game. Whatever he had going on. Darius Garland, I mean, you don't get very much answers about him and what he can do. And, for him to talk as much as he was talking towards the end of the season, whether it's shots at Draymond for the Defensive Player of the Year, shots at Tyler Herro, we all saw that he was injured. Like, you could tell the toe injury was really messing with him. At the end of the day, like, you still got to perform. So, like, it's tough because, if you're healthy, you could maybe the series isn't different in terms of the outcome, but maybe you're in a game 7 situation. But it's how do you bank on next year? Because next year, given the Celtics situation, there's a very, very strong chance the Cavs are a heavy favorite to win the Eastern Conference, even with either of these teams going to, unless they win the finals in dominating fashion. There's a very strong chance that the Cavs there's a very strong chance that the Cavs are going to be the opening day favorite to come out of the East. There's I won't say a very, very strong chance, but there's a slightly strong chance that they have that same kind of how the Celtics came all year, where they were never out of it for the favorites. Really, up until the moment Jayson Tatum got hurt, they were always the favorites in the East. There's a chance that the Cavs could be in that same position next year. And how do you trust that? Because Garland hasn't been healthy since college. He's never been healthy. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he always made the play. He's James Harden, always in the playoffs, but it also always seemed like that ankle starting to get hurt at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Jarrett Allen, you're the Iron Man, but it's starting to really look like you soft. Like, you can't you can't fake toughness. And at the end of the day, even with the injuries, the Pacers were more mentally tough than the Cavs. To an extent, I don't want to say they were a little bit more physically tough, but they were pressing up. They're a little bit more physically tough against the guards than the guard. The bigs, I won't say like compared to the previous years, but the guards for sure. So I mean, it's a tough position. Like, it's really a tough position because because they're a second apron team, they can't really make. There's really no move they can make unless it's 1-1. So LeBron, unless he want to come sign for the minimum, that's a pipe dream. It's, you kind of have to rock with it, but how do you trust it? How do you sell that to a fan base that, hey, Garland's going to be healthy. Donovan Mitchell's not going to have his ankles hurt. Evan Mobley's not going to be hurt. Strus, whatever the fuck he had going on. It's tough. So, and then for the Thunder and Thunder and man, Strus. And then for the Thunder and the Nuggets, I mean, I honestly, to the point of the Cavs, but the Celtics as well, this whole offseason, this whole postseason is kind of, it's felt like it's put a highlight on the mental aspect of in-game. Like, we saw the Cavs obviously lost game 2 due to the mental aspect, can't check the ball in. The Celtics obviously got walked down multiple games against the Knicks. Was just selling, couldn't get into the offense. The Thunder, they go on these big stretches, and then all of a sudden they get walked down, and it seemed like they can't get anything going. Shea over there, farming, whatever they say he be doing, but they running the offense through Caruso and fucking Isaiah Hartenstein.
Crazy. Crazy.
Denver is very much on borrowed time, but as long as they continue to be let's not say the smartest team, the smarter team in the series, they're able to make it a series. And OKC, I mean, they were able to pull it out last night, but last night was really a game they probably should have lost.
They should have lost that game. They hit some good shots.
Lou Dort was the one really who saved them, which is crazy.
Lou Dort saved that game 100%.
Lou Dort saved that game, and it probably, the Nuggets was probably like, God damn, this nigga just rained it. It's like, ain't nothing you can do about it.
It's like, damn, he hitting that shit.
So OKC, y'all got to start playing smarter, or you're going to end up in a position where y'all lose against a team that really, there's no team that you should lose to, especially now with the Celtics.
Especially now,
it's rolled out the red carpet for you. So y'all they gotta play smarter, man. They gotta play smarter, and okay. I mean, on the Nuggets side, they gotta play smarter, gotta play better as well. Because you can't. Jokic is going through it. It's not many teams that he's going to face where he's going against two legitimate 7-footers, and Hartenstein actually has size that can bang with him. And then, Jalen Williams is also, he's not as tall, but he's stout and he's strong. He can move his feet. So it's not many teams he's going to go against where he's seeing that. So that's probably more likely what's giving him trouble, on top of the fact that OKC's wing players are, always swiping at the ball. They're quick as fuck. This nigga Lou Dort is fouling like a linebacker. So, I mean,
and flopping. Fouling and flopping. That's a dangerous combination out there.
that boy Lou Dort don't care. He don't care, bro. Get off me, nigga. Like,
that shit is crazy.
Nah, but I mean, it's been a great series. I would honestly say the Celtics-Knicks series might be the best one, honestly, even though the series has been what it is. But, I mean, and then the Warriors, I done fell asleep and had to run it back.
Look, that Warriors Timberwolves series, man. And hopefully the Timberwolves just end that shit tonight. I don't want to hear nothing else about Steph Mike coming back. They said today he got cleared for on court, whatever, workouts, whatever activities. So ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, man. Just go on here.
He working out for the free hunt, man.
Nah, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Timberwolves need to put them out their misery. Then they jump to the Giannis sweepstakes, and we'll see how that shit goes.
Yeah, whatever. There's no Giannis. But you see how everybody start trying to wave the white flag, talk about all those people that was saying the Warriors was favorites, should be winning the championship.
I mean, you got Draymond up there, All-Star break, telling us something. We're winning the ship. We're winning the championship this year.
They're going to have a lot of questions because, I mean, yeah, you can get rid of Kuminga. Maybe he's a better player or a decent player or whatever. But, like, you just invested in playoff Jimmy and, 9
can't rely on that.
9 shot attempts is not great. So, we're going to see. We're going to see what the Warriors got going on. I mean, tonight it's going to be we'll see, If Ant want to take the next step, he can go ahead and put him out of their misery. Don't even let it be a game. So.
Facts.
The last 2 games he been hooping. So, keep it up. Keep the hot streak up. We'll see.
Not to start last game, but
not to start, but the second half he had like almost 30 in the second half of game 3. What?
But I mean, so next time we're back, we should officially have the remaining Final 4 teams, which it's looking like it's going to be Knicks, Pacers, bearing anything crazy, and maybe Thunder versus the Timberwolves. So, not only is it not what everybody kind of expected, at least from maybe on the OKC side, but every other team, it is kind of good for the sport because we're really starting to see that next wave. Like now we got Halliburton and Anthony Edwards, the same draft class. Then you obviously got Jalen Brunson and Luka were the same draft class, and Luka obviously made it last year. Jalen Brunson maybe has a chance to make it this year. Cat finally getting there. Mikal Bridges, obviously he's been there. OG's won one. So, I mean, it's kind of like a little bit of a changing of the guard with Jokic obviously being Jokic. I don't know do you want to put Jalen Brunson in the next guard, or he's kind of like in the middle with Jokic, I feel like, and Shea really, but people feel like Shea's a young dude, even though he's not.
Shea's getting old now. People don't talk about that, but like, because the Thunder is such a young team, but like, all right, bro, you 27 pretty much now. It's like, all right, bro.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of like the middle ground more so than maybe Tyrese Halliburton and Ant are like the next guard, whereas the middle ground is like the Jalen Brunson and Shea. So it's I mean, it's something different. So. And then we'll see how things shake out in the offseason with the KDs, Giannis, LeBron, Steph, because, I mean, his name is going to start coming up as well in some of these talks. But switching to the NFL, obviously we haven't officially gotten the full schedule released, but we have gotten a lot of games released. I mean, it seems like they leaked the whole Eagles schedule first before anybody else.
Crazy.
But, starting off, we got the Eagles versus the Cowboys opening the season. Obviously, we probably should have expected it. It's the Cowboys versus the Eagles. They were never the Cowboys are always a primetime game in opening weekend. So I mean that was kind of an easy one for them. But we've also got another Friday night game with the Chiefs going against the Chargers. We found out officially about the Sunday night game. with the Buffalo Bills going against the Ravens as well. So,
I like it.
starting off week 1, we do have the full week 1 schedule. What is the game that you guys are looking forward to the most?
Gotta be that
Gotta
one.
be that one. I mean, they're they're top dogs of the AFC, and especially after just playing each other against each other in the playoffs, and how it was a close knit tough game. Obviously some miscues, and could have been a different story. So I mean, you got 2 exciting quarterbacks Sunday night. I mean, shit. It don't get no better than that. And the thing about this game, it's so early in the season, but I guarantee this is going to be the game that decides, some seeding, obviously at the end of the year. So, I mean, I can't complain. Obviously, of course, I'm gonna be happy watching the Eagles play because we get to put up our banner. But yeah, I mean, you can't get no better than Ravens and Buffalo on a Sunday night.
Losing to the Cowboys when you're trying to put up that banner, though.
Man, we ain't worried about that shit,
we'll see how the Cowboys kind of shake up, but that should be a good one too. I mean, you get to see off rip, like how's that kind of dynamic going to work between Pickens and CD going against your defense, Chris, and the Eagles defense. So that should be a good one. If I had to go with a different one besides Ravens Bills,
I pick a different one.
Probably going to look at the Lions and Packers game. That 4:00 game is probably be the Fox game of the week or whatever. We'll see how it kind of shakes out. But the Lions and Packers, man, both of those teams have something to prove this year. How their season ended last year. How are you going to start your season out? Like in the division game, I think it's like 6 division games in week 1, which is like, I don't know. It seems like a lot to me. That seems like we don't get that too often. But that stuff comes back.
I feel like they should have just they should make the first week. They already had the last week as all division games, but they should make the first week all division games.
I mean, that makes it tough for. I mean, obviously that's up to your team. That's up to your teams. But I'm saying like a lot of people don't play that. Play them preseason games.
Get right. You
fuck your division game up off rip. Yeah, that's
right.
You on one division now. You looking crazy, bro. You gotta be like, all right, man.
But that incentivizes people to start really playing them preseason games. Get right. Yeah.
You got all this time. You got all this time. No, I'm with you there. But yeah, that Lions Packers should be a good one. Sneaky one is Vikings Bears. I know a lot of people be tuning in out on Monday night just because of the. We'll see what Ben Johnson and the offense can do with Caleb Williams going against that Vikings defense. So, what about you, Shad? Same thing, pretty much.
So I'm, obviously the Ravens versus the Bills is one that everybody's going to be looking forward to, and it's back in Buffalo where obviously the Ravens season ended the way that it ended. So we'll see if they're able to, and they played twice last year. Obviously, the Ravens smacked them the first game, and then it ended up coming down to the missed 2-point conversion in the playoffs. So and the last 2 NFL MVPs as well going head to head. Obviously, with Josh Allen being the newly minted NFL MVP, but honestly, I'm the Steelers at Jets. Aaron Rodgers back in his own stomping grounds. Justin Fields, that has a little bit. You
saying
of
that with certainty,
right?
Like
Aaron Rodgers on the
Steelers. He's
let's talk it.
But yes, them. Obviously it's in New York, so I mean that crowd's gonna be crazy. Obviously it's not a beef, but the Aaron Glenn comments towards Aaron Rodgers, that's going to come to fruition there. So that'll be something that's interesting. And then Texans at Rams. I think that's a kind of an interesting game of similar styles of play offensively. And then it's a big game. We'll see how the Texans have changed things up, obviously, with their offensive line and going against that D-line with the reigning defensive rookie of the year. So I think that's a little bit of an interesting one as well. But I mean, it's exciting. It's getting closer. I hate that. I think this, honestly, the schedule release day is the stupidest shit ever.
It's a mess. It's a mess overall.
Why are you leaking shit? They said, oh, we're going to name 4 games. We're going to release all the international games on Good Morning America.
Good morning, yeah. Good
Like
morning
then we're
football.
gonna leave.
We're
We're
gonna
gonna
go
release the Thursday night games
on the
on
Today Show.
Like come on,
Yeah.
man. Like just release the schedule.
Facts.
Like what are we doing, bro?
playing.
Like
Just
stop all this extra shit. Like they talk, and then they do all the. I mean, even we're doing it now. But what games you're looking forward to? It's always the same game. It's always the same games. We always know that the Bills and the Chiefs are going to play because they always finish number 1 in the division. So next year, everybody's going to be looking forward to the Chiefs versus the Bills and Josh Allen versus. I mean, it's the same games. So find some more intrigue. Find some different intrigue. If that's what the game's going to be. Like every year, we can't have the top 3 games being Pat versus Josh and Josh versus Lamar.
Throw a little Joe Burrow in there a little bit,
and then the Super Bowl rematch. So that's it. Those are 3. Those are 3.
But yeah, man, it's all dumb. But before we sign off, obviously the second biggest surprise of the past week, obviously outside of Jayson Tatum, was the Dallas Mavericks have officially won the NBA draft lottery and won the rights to possibly drafting Cooper Flag. When you guys saw that, obviously we once it got about halfway, they popped into the top 4, and we kind of all had the feeling. But now that it's officially happened the way it is, do you guys feel any different about the Luka trade, and how'd you feel about Cooper Flag possibly going to Dallas Mavericks?
My issues are more to Nico. You saw the video of him celebrating of them in their little war room or whatever. Man, I know look, it worked out for him. I don't believe, of course, all the conspiracy stuff has been, running rampant. But I mean, obviously, it's tough to even go down that route to even try to make it make sense. So my issue is more with the lottery system itself and how it's kind of set up. And I don't think that, and a lot of people are pointing to, okay, well, you got teams like the Jazz, you got teams like the Wizards. That's kind of in my view, that's this is the reason why they stay bad for so long. They don't even get a shot because nobody's going there. So this is the only way they can really garner interest, get their fan base hype. And when you can't end up with a first, it's it's a little rough. If you're a Wizards fan, if you're a Jazz fan, you're picking 5 after the season that y'all had. It's just like, okay, now a team that just finished 10th, almost made the playoffs, gets the first seed. I don't think it should be like that. I don't think there should be any odds for that team to get the first seed. In my opinion, I think it should be you can jump higher than where you are. You can jump higher than whatever 14 or whatever. But to get into the top 5 or top 4, I think that's a little crazy to me. I don't know, and I don't necessarily know how all this shit works, like how they automatically jump to the top 4 and all these little stats. And I don't get how all that works. But I don't think it should even be an option for that shit to happen. Personally, and I think it kind of messes up the parity of the league. And I like Utah. I mean, I don't know too much about this draft class, but you do know, the names that you've been hearing so far the last couple of months, and they won't get a chance to draft any of those, at least the top 3 guys with Bailey, Harper and Flag. And it's like, okay, well, where do we go from here? You even got Dwayne Wade speaking out on it as a Utah Jazz part owner, but it's tough for a team like that. But I mean, Flag in Dallas could be cool if they keep the pick, which I think they will, but we'll see. But yeah, I think Flag in Dallas could be cool.
Nah, you're right. Because I was just explaining to somebody how to kind of how the lottery system go, and like how their question was, so the NFL don't do it. Nah, it's just if you got the worst record, you automatically don't want to see. That's just what it is. And like you said, because I didn't even think of it like that, but like that's how some of these teams stay in purgatory. Like it's a chance, and it's like, yo, like you just said, Dallas is a 10th seed. They shouldn't be able to be anywhere near that top 5 anything. And that's 10th seed on the West. Obviously, I don't know as far as in totality what their what their seeding would have been. But still, though, I imagine it was lower than that. But either way, it's just the simple fact that there, as a team that had a bad year or just doing bad, like you should be automatically at least top 5. If you're gonna
You
do
shouldn't
it,
come into it with a 14% chance to get
like
the first seed.
it shouldn't even
That's
be a
crazy.
percentage. Like I don't know what's the reasoning for it. I don't know if they will ever change it. But yeah, I mean that's just bad. I mean, but then that's how some teams, like, fortunately for the Celtics, that's how we got good. But we weren't a bad team. We just was able to trade for first round picks, and their first round picks kept getting in the top, obviously four or
Right.
whatever. So that, but I mean, but for Dallas, I mean, shout out to Dallas. I know Nico didn't think none of this was going to happen. I mean, he really got lucky, we being honest. I mean, I still probably wouldn't have did the Luka trade no matter what the outcome was as far as the season ending go. This was just a gift from God saying, "Hey man, don't do this dumb shit again."
It's crazy because even if Flag is not I don't think he'll get to Luka's level, but you have that face. You have your face of your franchise now. Like, he's gonna sell a shit ton of jerseys. He's in Texas. That's a white boy. Be real about it. So I mean,
And
it's
he's
gonna sell.
American,
It's
so I
gonna
mean,
sell.
like, you think about
It's gonna sell so much. I mean, like,
Luka. What was he? He was no. I mean the pick he was. He was like 4 or 6. They had swapped with the Hawks.
He was.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. But anyway, I mean, like you said, Kaz, that's the face. Like, people know who that is. They done seen this man since high school. Hell, he was part of the USA team as far as I guess the trials, or is it select? I forgot what it's called.
yeah, select.
But
You can
yeah,
call it
so like
select.
you said,
Yeah.
you just you just guaranteed you a face of the franchise and maybe save your job another 2 years or whatever the case may be. But I mean, good for them. That's all I can say. Good for Dallas. They needed
It's
something.
the system.
It's the
Yeah.
system, but they needed something to combat what just happened with the Luka thing, because that still obviously don't sit right with their fan base.
You don't mind, for the most part, the system, because part of it is also like you got to make the right move. Like, I get it that it sucks when you are rooting for Washington and they've been bad, and but and they've been bad and continue to be bad. But it's also like you're some of them, and Utah the same way. But like some of the things is like you're trading away assets to be bad. Like you're trading away assets, or like getting rid of assets to possibly get a chance at the lottery, as opposed to possibly make playoffs, or possibly do something else. So like you're trying to be rewarded for you know sucking, and there's I understand it sucks. It does. The best way to try to get one of the superstars is by having a top 3 pick. It's not the only way, because we do see the Indiana Pacers right now. They traded for Tyrese Halliburton. They traded for Nimhard from the Celtics. They traded not Nimhard, but what's my boy?
Aaron Neesmith.
Aaron Neesmith. They traded for Pascal Siakam. So like, they
And Obi
made the
Toppin.
moves to make Obi Toppin. They made the moves, and Obi Toppin was somebody that was kind of like a throwaway. So they made the correct moves to better their team, and they didn't have the number 1 overall draft pick or anything like that. Their star player at the time was hurt, and obviously Sabonis was a piece that was able to get them Tyrese Halliburton, but there's a lot. Laurie Markkinen is a piece that maybe can get you something,
Well, how far
or
back do you go with that though? Because I mean, they did trade away Paul George, and that's kind of how they got Sabonis. And then you trade away Sabonis, and that's how you got Tyrese. So
but
like, you
Paul
could,
George also wasn't a top 3. He wasn't a top 10 pick.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
So I mean, if you at the end of the day, they still were able to diagnose. I mean, the Pacers are really. I mean, for our lifetime, I mean, they've been a viable
Relevant.
team,
Yeah, they've
like
been relevant.
consistently been a viable team. So like this is a team that's running, they're doing a good job. So like the Wizards have consistently been butt. And even with John, when they did hit the lottery and one got John Wall, when they did hit the lottery and they got Bradley Beal, they weren't, they were
Shit,
okay.
they said they'll beat Braun there, bro. Just telling you what
They were okay.
I'm just telling you what they said.
They were an okay team, but like that was that. They were nothing more than okay with Gilbert Arenas. They made some smart moves to get Gilbert. They were an okay team, even though they were making the playoffs consistently. They were always getting out of the first round, So as an organization, you got to evaluate yourselves and start making some better decisions. And hopefully the balls bounce your way. I'm sorry. But it's tough. But at the end of the day, like imagine, your star player getting hurt and you're having a rough season and you're just like, hey, just sit this one out. We got Cooper Flag coming because we know that we can tank and get the rest of these picks. So Joel Embiid, Paul George, y'all sit down, even though they needed to sit down anyway. Y'all sit down so we get this guy. Like imagine teams always doing that consistently year after year.
That's why I like the lottery aspect of it. I just don't like these bubble teams that if you're playing and play-in, if you just got the play-in, I feel like you should not be able to get the top seed. That's my thing about it. But
I mean, I get it, but I mean the play-in, it's also the play-in. You're also a 10 seeded team for a reason. Like you're a 10 seeded team for a reason. I get the play-in. Like I get it, and that's why some people argue against the play-in and like letting these people do it. But at the end of the day, you still were a 10 seeded team. So.
But I mean,
how crazy it would have been?
Wizards, though? They're not really tanking. They're just bad. They're not actively trying to say, "Let me go get the number one pick." They just can't compete, and they just go in purgatory forever. I mean, but obviously, like you said, it is more than just a draft. Obviously, you gotta make the move.
They traded for Kuzma. They could have got more back for Kuzma. Shit, instead of old Chris Middleton, and not I don't know what they would have got back for him, but maybe Chris Middleton is the piece that they need. I mean, maybe he's the vet that can help them out. But I mean, it's not like they don't have young talent. Like they got to develop their young talent. Like continue developing your young talent. Make smart moves. Like bring in some solid vets. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But it's not like every single superstar that's been in the league. Honestly, more often than not, the number one overall draft pick over the past decade hadn't necessarily been, Zion obviously has been a star, but he hasn't been, consistently healthy. Really, a lot of top picks: Markelle Fultz, Zion, Anthony Bennett, Ben Simmons. You got great years out of Ben Simmons. And you can't necessarily say he's not a bust, but it didn't go the route that you wanted to. Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball. He's still sitting over there. I mean. So I mean, there's a lot of players that have come out that have been good. I mean, I'm not gonna say Jokic because I mean that's just a once in a lifetime. But obviously Giannis he was a lottery pick, but he was a lower end lottery pick. Therese Maxey, Therese Halliburton, like figure it out. Grab some solid players, good players. Figure it out. End of the day, like that's the hand that was dealt. Figure it out. Cavs figured it out. The Cavs figured they did. I mean, post LeBron, they figured it out. They hit on Garland. They got a hit on a trade piece in Colin Sexton. They made the right move in getting Laurie Markkinen that ended up getting them Donovan Mitchell. They made the right trades to get Jared Allen and Karis LeVert and DeAndre Hunter. Figured out. So. You don't get the number one overall pick, but you have 5 straight years of top 5 picks. Okay, like you can't be good at all. like you can't be good at all. Like that's not a lottery problem. Like that's a you problem. So I don't know. And but I will say the conversation about the NFL teams doing it, shit's stupid.
They need to stop.
That shit is dumb as fuck because that shit really, like, imagine the fucking 49ers winning the lottery after just their whole team was just hurt, and all of a sudden they get the first overall pick or something. Like that shit would have been a little.
I forgot who said it. Somebody said if this scenario next year, if the Falcons barely miss the playoffs and the Rams make it, to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, and Matt Stafford just says, "All right, I'm out." For it to be a possibility that even at like 8-9 or whatever the Falcons would be next year, that they have that pick that could possibly be the first overall pick. People will riot. People would look. That'd be
crazy.
Hey, that would, they'll be calling collusion for real on that. So that's a dangerous game. We don't even know a lot. And Adam Schefter has been on that train. Mike Greenberg has been banging that drum the last 2 days. Like, no, bro, chill. Chill. Stop it.
They just needed something to talk about. It's the dead period of the year. That's really why the schedule release is getting hyped the way that it is.
It's a holiday at this point, which is crazy, but
for real at this point. So, and they're talking about. I mean, social media team, all the NFL teams, social media are like doing
it's their
stuff
Super Bowl
now. It's becoming it is their Super Bowl. It's becoming a thing now to do something for the schedule release. Players are obviously getting involved, so it'll be interesting. We'll find out in about an hour, but that gives us a wrap for another episode of the Speak Up Sports Podcast. We will catch y'all next week for the conference finals.
Yes, sir.